We've all seen the posts, $100 to $400 an hour reading for KDP. I wanted to find out if this side hustle is legit, so I started to research. Let me go ahead and give you a clue. It actually is. But let me tell you what you have to do if you want to be successful at this particular side hustle. This is actually one side hustle I've never done.
I'm shocked.
So of course I had to go to people who have done it. I researched on Fiverr, Reddit, several blog posts and websites. I actually reached out to people who are currently doing this as either a full-time job or a side hustle. I asked them questions, and what do you know? They responded. Today, we're going to hear from one particular person who's doing voiceovers for a full-time job, Bobby G. I have an interview set up next week for someone else who's doing full-time voiceovers. And then I actually found someone named Renee Clancy living in Paris doing voiceovers. So it's actually been a really fun, exciting adventure. I've got here for you tips that you're going to need to get started, what equipment you should start with, what resources you're going to need to learn how to do this, and exactly when you should start. First, let's start on Fiverr. I asked these professionals if they flat out are making this kind of money, and they said yes. Oh, and side note, first of all, I found out a way that you can make an additional $75 on top of the $400 that you'd be making per hour. And I have all of this written out for you on my website. If you go to reneeclancy.com, all the links, the tips, the tricks, everything is there. So don't worry about taking notes or anything for this right now. Have you ever been told if you have a great voice? I remember one time I auditioned for a radio commercial. I was told I had a good voice, and I said it once, and then they said, okay, do it a little bit faster. I did it faster, and then they said, okay, thank you, no thank you. And I had to leave.
So what? That was it?
I asked Bobby G on Fiverr how he got started. He said that one of the biggest misconceptions is that people think they have to start with really expensive equipment or really nice microphones or a studio. He said, my first setup was $60 isolation screen, a borrowed microphone from a friend who recorded music, and my closet. Once I made my first $1,000, I invested all of it into my own microphone, an audio interface, a custom-built PC, and a vocal booth I made myself out of PVC pipe and sound dampening blankets. See, it is possible to start with very little. Now, I wanted to give you resources so you would know where to go to or what type of mics you should look at if you want to start this. Please go to voices.com. They give reviews of the best mics or the most popularly used mics for voiceovers. Again, that's voices.com. When I went to Amazon to look for these, it really was unreliable. I wasn't quite sure about the reviews. There were some that were $50 and they looked great, and then again some that were $500. Again, start where you are at. Don't let the excuse for needing a really fancy microphone be the reason for not starting this side hustle. It's possible to start with a very basic microphone. ACX is a website, kind of like Match.com, where publishers, writers, and voiceover actors come together and find the best fit. Now, the reason why you see all of these YouTube channels, and my thumbnail including, that say $100 to $400 per hour for reading for KDP, it's because Amazon is the big umbrella that KDP, Audible, and this ACX are all under. So that's why you're reading for KDP/Amazon through this other website. We're going to go ahead and go to ACX and let me show you. Here's the beginning. You're more than welcome to make a free login or account when you get started. I just want to show you the very beginning. Right now I'm clicked on narrators and studios. This is where you would go when you want to get started. They have a really great blog here with resources walking you through all the steps that you need. You can create a profile, all the basics. Then you're going to want to make sure to collaborate, to create. This is when you're working with the writers and the authors of the book or possibly an agent. Finalizing your project, and you're going to want to make sure you upload samples. All of this is detailed out here for you. Now I want to show you what it looks like once you make an account. So here are where you find the projects. Let's hone it down and find exactly what type of project would be good for someone like me if I wanted to start this. So here are all the books that the authors and the agents and publishers have put up here. Let's come over here to the right. I want to narrow it down. Project length, let's say I want to start 3 to 5 hours, something a little bit shorter because I'm new. Let's see here. I actually love reading. I love fiction, so I'm just going to put fiction because I like that. Language, very important. I'm going to be speaking English. Accents. Let me close these windows. I am terrible at accents, so they're going to get an American accent here. My son can do amazing accents. He would be great at this. Okay, voice gender, female, and voice age. Oh, so embarrassing. Yes. Am I middle-aged or am I adult? I'm going to put adult here because I don't want to admit that I'm middle-aged. Okay, vocal style. I'm not quite sure on this one actually, so I'm going to go ahead and close that one. Here we go. So it already narrowed down some books here. The Angeni series, Guerrilla Architects, Whatever Happened to Joe Rose. Okay, interesting. Let's go ahead and let's click on Fairywood Falls. Probably a story I would read. I love sci-fi fantasy. Okay, so for this one, the budget is $50 to $100. I want to know if that's for the whole thing or per hour. Okay, now remember, some of these have a lower budget because people have published books on their own and they are hiring an individual like you who are freelancing to do this for them. Not everyone has to go through a publisher to get published. It does say here $50 to $100. That is per finished hour. So they suggest that you'll send in, if you sign with this particular person, you will send in an example, what they call a rough draft. They send it back to you with notes, and then the next one is considered your final hour that you're submitting. Okay, let's go back. Let's try a different one. Let's try this one. Okay, that one I'm probably not one that I would read, but it says $100 to $200, so I want to look at that one. Okay, $100 to $200 per finished hour. Almost 5 hours. I think that looks pretty good. So now you get the idea of how you would find books. Next, Bobby from Fiverr gave some really great tips. He said, don't get narrow-minded and think about just one path. Consider multiple options. He says, at first I was hell-bent on finding an agent within the Los Angeles area, but quickly discovered the potential that freelance voiceovers had to offer, like Fiverr. Let's go to the Fiverr site and let me show you. Okay, here we are on Fiverr. I went ahead and typed in voiceover and you see some people who are in demand, top rated, or possibly it could be an ad that they're promoting. Let's jump on one of these and listen. Let's try him.
Adventure takes you. Get there in the all-new Camry Hybrid. It's so powerful, you'll forget it's a efficient hybrid. Toyota, let's go places.
Let's try an example of someone else. Let's try Lauren Good. She actually replied to me also. She will be sending me some answers in a bit.
Welcome. I'm Lauren Good, professional freelance American voice actor with decades of experience and limitless passion for the work.
She's got a great voice, obviously. There are lots of resources on YouTube, but I wanted to hop off of YouTube really quickly to give you some varied resources. On Reddit, they suggested Bloomvox Studios, and they also gave a lot of other links. I put all those links in my website, so you can go there to check it out. There was this great discussion on Reddit about starting with some free classes and then possibly paying for more, about how these professional voiceover actors will, about once every 2 or 3 months, start a class. Either they give it, teach it, or they get together with the community on social media and they help each other out, give each other reviews if you don't want to pay for a class at the very beginning. But trust me, I'm sure there are plenty of people on YouTube who have given lots of advice about how to start voiceovers. Now, remember when I said you could get an extra $75? Here's how. ACX, the website that I showed you, says that they have a bounty referral program where you can earn $75 each time a new Audible listener becomes a member by purchasing the audiobook that you did. So you would put a special link in wherever you're promoting this book or on your platform. Anybody who signs up, you get an extra $75. That's pretty awesome. So take the leap. Your journey awaits and nothing is stopping you but yourself.